that's an option if somebody wanted to.
I do now.
The notice requirement for the open public meeting law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given, said notice has been transmitted to the Courier News and Star Ledger on January 8, 2014, as well as posted on the bulletin board in the city clerk's office. Mr. Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilmembers Brown,
Here.
Reeves,
Here.
Storch,
Here.
Teller, absent during roll call, Williams,
Here.
Chairman Reed, absent during roll call, Council President Rivers.
Here.
Council President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we please stand for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Humbly, we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and peace. Amen.
Amen. May I have a motion to approve the following minutes as presented? The regular meeting on March 10th, 2014 and April 15th, 2015. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I see we have no ceremonial matters at this time. Mr. Clerk, are there any communications from the mayor?
None at this time.
Any other communications or petitions?
Yes, Council President Rivers has granted permission for a brief presentation from the Greater Plainfield Habitat for Humanity regarding this request for week-long road closures to construct a new home.
Is there anyone here from Habitat for Humanity?
Well, Council, really pleased to be able to stand before you this evening. My name is Jeremy Montgomery. I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Plainfield Habitat for Humanity. I've served in this capacity about 4 years. With me tonight as well is our Board President, L.T. Dela Cruz, who's also a Plainfield resident. And with me as well is Wayne Smith, former Board President, as well as Plainfield resident. As you may or may not be aware, we've been in operation for 25 years, serving this great city. We've built 35 homes. Yes. Perfect. I'll say it again. We built 35 homes here in the city of Plainfield. And of course, the families that we have served are employees of the city of Plainfield, city employees. They are also employees with the Board of Education and the school system, employees of the South 2nd Street Youth Center, employees of the Greenbrook Nursing Home. So these are members of our community in which we are really proud to serve. This is a unique opportunity. In 25 years, as you know, we haven't had to come to the city and ask for your help very often. We're very proud of the tradition of being able to serve the city, yet what is coming up, we need your help. We are embarking upon a big challenge. We are participating in a national program with Habitat for Humanity International called Home Builders Blitz. From June 9th to the 13th, we are undertaking the challenge to build one home in 1 week. We are one of 99 locations throughout the United States doing this feat within this particular week, and we are the only one in the Northeast. And in order for us to be able to accomplish this, we need your full cooperation and support. I believe what you do have queued up right behind you is a brief video that showcases the Home Builders Blitz for Habitat for Humanity.
Where are you building this home at? Where's this home going to be built?
I'll comment on that in a second. If you don't mind, pictures are worth 1,000 words, videos are worth 1,000,000. So let me show you the video first.
The idea of the 1 week blitz is if you ask me as a builder to build a house in a month for Habitat, I couldn't do it because I have other obligations. But if you can compress the time and enable a builder to do it in 1 week, it makes it a very manageable amount of time to build the home. One of my friends in Raleigh who's participated in 4 blitzes so far, he said, "You've made it so easy. I can give a week of my time and make a $60,000 contribution to my community, and there's no other way I could do that."
What Habitat does is provide the shell. They qualify the Habitat homeowners in terms of their ability to hold a budget and to pay their mortgage back and so on. Builders can't do that, but they can build the house. The competition between these guys is really intense. If you turn your head for 10 minutes, there's a house standing there.
That drive to get it done and being able to do it is what brings everybody back year after year. It's not a burden on the companies because the span of time is so quick, and that's part of the excitement. Every day is a countdown, and that makes it fun.
The cooperation from the city and from the inspections departments and from our trade guys and our landscapers and the lumber supplies and the window guys, it's just, it's amazing what Habitat has done to orchestrate all that. And all we do here is kind of help them put it all together when we get on site.
We provided all the lumber and material to build these houses as we have done several years in the past. And we just like giving back to the community and supporting our builders that buy from us. Everybody wins. The community wins, the people that are getting the houses win, our employees win, and the builders win. So it's a win-win situation for all.
It's all about the families and the huge difference it makes in their lives. And the builders participating in this program are able to spend some time with the families, get to know them, and recognize what a huge difference they're making in the lives of these families.
My builder, come here now. This is one of my builders. He's so nice. He belongs to me now, the type of family.
These are families that work very, very hard, and just seeing how excited they are to be able to move into their first home, a place to nurture their kids and raise their families. You just got to get out here and do it. You have to experience it.
You're providing a home to a family that needs it. It's a place of comfort. It's a sanctuary. You need to come down here and get some dirt under your fingernails. And it's just been a remarkable experience, and we look forward to doing it for many years to come.
The incredible thing to me is we are facing such incredible economic issues in the home building industry, and yet the 5 builders here and hundreds of other builders throughout the country have stepped up and agreed to build a home for Habitat for nothing. It speaks so well for the home builders, I think.
First of all, I acknowledge that we are coming to you very last minute. One of the reasons is because we've received funding from the Department of Community Affairs to be able to serve a family affected by Hurricane Sandy, a family that's been affected or displaced. We just received approval to begin construction from them at the end of April. So we've been kind of backlogged to be able to race ever since to be able to have this home builders blitz coming together. So far, when you look at the block, and to answer your question, the home will be built at 1036 West 3rd Street. Okay, so there's 4th Ward, that's right. So that's one of the many homes that we have under construction, 4th Ward, including that this will be the 6th this year, because we have 5 others under construction on West 7th Street. So we need your help. We're really asking for a street closure because we need the space. This is an urban environment, as you know, here in the city of Plainfield, and we just don't have the space to be able to do this feat without the street closure. There's only 3 homes, 3 driveways that will be affected by the street closure. I do know that we have the full support. We already met with the chief of staff for the city, as well as the police director, in which they can, of course, speak to that. We're needing the street literally to be able to build components of the home right onto the street. We will have a large crane on site that then will be able to hoist that home onto its foundation. If you drive by the home right now, the foundation has already begun. And to talk a little about even more about the construction sequence, I've asked Wayne Smith, a Plainfield resident, to be able to speak to that.
Good evening. Wayne Smith, 824 Osborne Avenue, see, I know the protocol here. Having spoken here many times. Now that I am fully retired, I was site supervisor for Habitat. And I work 2 days a week on our houses there. The thing that we're coming to you folks to ask for your support, not only for the street closure, which will help us tremendously, but one of the key things that we find that delays us quite a bit in building these homes, and what is critical for us to be able to build this house in a week is inspections. You know, we have to build the house exactly the way it's designed and to current standards and everything. So we rely on our city inspectors to come in and tell us that we've done it right, so that the home is built properly for the people that are going to live there for a lifetime. The situation is such that many times we will wait 2 to 3 weeks for an inspection once we call. We can't do that if we're trying to build in a week. So one of the things that we're asking both you as council people and the city administration to get behind us is to help us with the inspections. We need to be able to have inspectors come through on a timely fashion and inspect to make sure that we're doing this all properly. We've even gone to, looked into having a paid inspector on site all week long. And we've had tentative approval from one of the building inspectors that we would be able to do that, but I think that's something that we would rely on approval from the council and the administration to be able to do that. We would foot the bill for an inspector who was state certified to be able to inspect all those kind of things if the personnel are not available from the city. So we ask you to take that into consideration along with the street closing and hope that you'll get behind us. And if Jeremy doesn't say this, we welcome you to come by there. We'll be building all week long. Stop by and see what's going on there. I think you'll be surprised. A house takes us normally a year. We're going to do it in a week. Wow. Thank you.
Do you have any further questions? The address is 1036 West 3rd Street.
Mr. Smalley, the inspector.
I will get in contact with the director of inspections and give them our cooperation and see if we can make this happen, if the council agrees to give them the street closures.
Of course, inspections are a separate matter. We do realize that.
Just one other question, sir. I know you built several houses in Plainfield. About how many have you constructed? And I can tell you where 3 of them is on the east end. It's Front Street, there's 2 at Leland Avenue, and there's 1 on 2nd, and I forget the street it is, but they are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
The people are taking care of them, which I like.
Yeah, we've built 35 homes here in the city of Plainfield. 35. We have 6 under construction this year. 5 at 908 West 7th Street, and then this one at 1036 West 3rd Street.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you for your service to the community.
Thank you. Reports of special committees. Mr. Clark, are there any reports of special committees?
Yes, the clerk's office has received the public safety committee reports for received by Councilman Brown.
Thank you. There are unfinished business on council. We have to get a budget here for the city of Plainfield. I would like to have a special meeting sometime this month. The finance committee needs to meet with Mr. West as soon as possible so we can get this budget passed. So what I'm asking the council tonight, are we going to cooperate and have this budget passed by May, or do we have to go and do another temporary budget?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking all the council members.
Oh, I don't think we can have it done in May, just our last meeting supposedly in May, unless we call it a special one. I think we need to have time to discuss it with the administration and the other council members. So I would suggest that we take it up in June and pass a temporary budget so that they can continue operating, which we have a resolution, I understand, is a new item. Unless you think we could do it this month. It's up to you. I'm available.
You know, to my colleagues, opinion?
I'm available. I'd like to get it
I mean,
over.
I could be available, but I'm a member of the finance committee. I've only been called for one meeting. I've never met the budget consultant. So I would go either way, but I'd be probably happier if we did this in June.
Okay, I'll call Mr. West and set up a meeting tomorrow morning, and I'll be in touch with each of you and see if you're available for that. If not, in person, perhaps we could have you on a conference call and have a meeting. I think we can settle. I think most of us have spoken out to what we like and don't like, so it's no surprise to anyone that way what we want to do. Just coming together, making sure that when we do present a final budget, we can get it passed. I think that's what it is.
Okay, well, Councilman Reed, as chairman of the finance committee, I would ask that you reach out to the budget consultants along with Mr. West and set up a meeting for sometime this week so that we can get a sound budget, something that we're all comfortable with passing.
Okay, and once I get the sound budget, I'll be in touch with you, and if we have time in May, we'll do it.
Great, sounds great.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Chairman, would you turn it over to you?
Thank you, and good evening again, everyone. It's been some nice weather for us. And if any of you out there planting in the garden, vegetables or whatever, you can do it in the next couple of weeks so that it get in the ground, start growing nicely. Under consideration of an ordinance for passing on the second reading, I call up an ordinance to relocate funds from the prior funded capital ordinances canceled out by resolution 125-14. I request the clerk to produce affidavit of publication and at the same time read the ordinance by title.
Clerk's office concurs with the reading of the ordinance by Chairman Reed and further certifies that this ordinance was published in the Courier News on April 19, 2014, and the Star Ledger April 23, 2014.
Therefore, I move for public hearing to be held on said ordinances. I need a second,
Second.
and I need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, is there anyone desiring to be heard on this subject? Will now have the opportunity to speak. Floor is now open.
Seeing none, Madam President, I move that the hearing be closed. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I move that the ordinance be adopted on the second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law.
Mr. Clerk, now roll call.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Greaves?
Yes.
Storch?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
And Council President Rivers?
Yes.
And for the information, that was ordinance MC 2014-08.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would you please offer MC 2014-09, the second reading?
Yes, MC 2014-09, under consideration ordinance for passage on second reading, which is an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 6 of the Building, Article 2, Property Maintenance. And this ordinance adds Section 7, abatement of nuisance, and Section 8, certification of prior to adoption of the resolution. And I request the clerk to produce an affidavit of publication and at the same time read the ordinance by title.
Clerk's office concurs with the reading of the ordinance by Chairman Reed and further certifies that this ordinance is published in the Courier News on April 19th and the Star Ledger on April 23rd.
Thank you. I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance. Which I need a second.
Second. Any persons desiring to be heard on this subject will now be given the opportunity to speak.
Seeing none, Madam President, I move that the hearing be closed. Need a second.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing? Okay. I move that the ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law. Need a second.
Second.
Mr. Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Greaves?
Yes.
Sorge?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Council President Rivers?
Yes.
This ordinance is adopted.
Mr. Chairman, would you please offer MC 2014-10 for second reading?
Okay, 2014-10, under consideration of ordinance for passage on second reading, which is an ordinance to accept the report of the Plainfield Charter Study Commission and for amendment to the New Jersey State Legislative Body for action. And I request the clerk produce an affidavit of publication and at the same time read the ordinance by title.
The clerk's office concurs with the reading of the ordinance by Chairman Reed and further certified that this ordinance was published in the Courier News on April 19th and Star Ledger on April 23rd, 2014.
Okay, and I read the title. I move that a public hearing be held on this ordinance.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any persons desiring to be heard on this subject will now be given the opportunity to speak.
This is great. Seeing no one come to the mic, I move that the public hearing be closed.
Second.
All in favor, closing?
Aye.
Okay. I move that the ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Greaves?
Yes.
Sorge?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Council President Rivers?
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
The floor is now open for public comments limited to resolutions, motions, and ordinance to be introduced on first reading. Please be advised that a total time of 30 minutes will be allotted to permit members of the public to comment on resolutions and motions considered this evening. Each speaker will be permitted a maximum time limit of 3 minutes to comment. The floor is now open.
Harold, just 1353 Cushing Road. I would like to speak, I guess collectively, on resolutions 178, 179, and specifically 180. I'm not against the having fiestas and celebrations of ethnic holidays and culture. I think it's a great idea. But I question whether it should be done as a commercial event. Furthermore, I was unaware with Resolution 180 that it included a parade. I don't know how many of you councilors were really aware of that when it was presented last week for inclusion on this agenda, or like I overlooked it. But this would mean, of course, closing West Front Street from Rock Avenue down to, down past where Van Burgers used to live, that building there. And that is even if it's only for 2 hours, it has to be a preparation and a cleaning expense. So that seems to me to be too much. Furthermore, I do object to 3 wood days taken away from the city and the commercial aspects of downtown for a commercial enterprise. All 3 of them are, and I would submit that the idea of a Hispanic, Latino celebration, a celebration of African American, a celebration of any other significant or even minority cultural group in this community would be a great idea and a profitable thing and a good publicity thing for this community to do. I think that could be done through the help of under the aegis of the Recreation Division. And it should be a community affair. David Richmond sent me an email, which I posted, with a link to the city of Montreal, Canada, which does have such an affair yearly. And I think we should well consider that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Flor Gonzalez, and
Excuse me, what did you say?
Flor Gonzalez,
Where do you live?
410 Watson Avenue. and-
410 what?
Watson Avenue.
Is that a residence or is that a business?
It's a business, and
So you do not live there?
I live in 903 Central Avenue.
Excuse me?
903 Central Avenue.
903 Central Avenue. Thank you.
I have been president of the Latin American Coalition for since we inaugurated the association, and we have the Hispanic Heritage Festival since the year 2001. We have I have a lot of documents here that can prove to you that we have done festivals every year, and it is the Latin American Coalition Hispanic Heritage Festival. We do not do it as a commercial, we do it as a non-for-profit, we don't get no money, we encourage the business to participate, and we help the business to grow. And we ask the community to be part, because we don't want to damage the business or take away from the business. And therefore, that's why we always do the festival. We don't charge for people to come in. We don't charge to the business for them to put tables, food tables, and the food tables is done by their own business in the city of Plainfield. So, I understand that it is 2 months before the festival that is being needed to present the application. But now I see in these resolutions that you have 2 organizations that do the application like 9 months before the activity. And also I see that they are doing it the same day. And the way we did the PNUA and our organization was that we, the day that they had the environmental festival, we did not do our festival. So we did, they do the environmental festival, I believe the 6th, and then we do the Hispanics, and then we do the Hispanic Heritage Festival the week after, because we do not want to interfere with them. That's the way that we was working since the beginning with. And after, one day started the festival from the Faraon, the festival from the bar here, and festivals, and we do not even know what they are doing. And I thought that last year when the public came here and asking the concept to every time that is a festival, to see if we can bring everybody together and try to do something for...
Motion to extend.
Second.
I'm sorry, it's just only 1 minute. No, last year when...
Aye.
Okay, it's only 1 minute. When we did that, in the year before was because the business was hurt for 3 days. Was hurt because they didn't have parking lots for the tenants, for the clients, and they didn't have clients because it was food and a lot of souvenirs and things in the festivals, so the business suffered too. So that's what we say, that probably before everything could be I start in line, then start to do the applications in, I believe, June, and then they finish in July, and it will be a committee of the administration and and members of the city council to see what they're all about and they can approve it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more for privilege of the floor?
I'd like to make a correction. I used the name, I said David Richmond, sent me the email, it's David Rutherford.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good
Oscar
evening.
Reba, 1338 Martin Avenue. That's a residence. It's almost been a year since this situation came up in terms of applications. And I remember sitting at that meeting and discussing with the council members or presenting my sentiments about the festivals. I am Latino. And I have to bring that forward because sometimes people don't think that I am, and then folks get confused as to why I'm making the statements that I'm making. A mile and a half away, doors closed, windows closed, you hear the noise. And it's not about not having an event, it's about having an event that has some guidelines, restrictions, oversight. Does the city have a contingency plan? Does the city have a crowd control plan? Is there a public safety plan that's in place to control everything that's going on? I read Dr. Yude's blog this afternoon, and not to take away business from anybody, but I think it's a great idea that the city of Plainfield emerge as the winner in this and have a festival that generates money for the city, as opposed to having commercial ventures who already have establishments in town. And from what I understand, neither of these operators live in town. So they make their money here, which is not a problem, but at the end of the day, they go home, the mess is left behind for us to clean. The fact that they've hired 6, or they're required to hire 6 police officers is really, it's great, but 6 police officers for 2,000, 3,000 people, that's not going to happen in terms of the crowd control. So I would really urge you to consider. Last week, one of the operators stated that, hey, I need I need this approved because there's folks in other countries already making costumes. Well, not my problem. That's the equivalent of being employed at a job and saying, hey, by the way, I'd like to take a vacation, even though you told me I can't take a vacation, but I've already booked my plane ticket. So I would urge that the council really consider what they're doing here with these festivals. And I'd like to, maybe not now, or somebody can speak to me afterwards, what has happened in the past year in terms of developing a process for how these events are structured and over the oversight that goes along with it. Because however many people there is downtown, there's a lot of other places that they have them. It's not 3 days for 12 hours a day. They're one-day thing. Union City, Weehawken, West New York. They're all Latin American festivals in the city, in New York City. You have a parade. It's one day. Very few places have.
Motion to extend. Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you. All those places have just a one-day festival. Again, it's not about not having an event. It's about it being well organized and structured so that the mess is not left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other person come up, Madam President, make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Chairman,
New business.
All matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the council member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately under new business in its normal sequence later on the agenda.
Thank you. All of those resolutions listed on this evening's consent agenda, which are identified as R 183-14 through R 198-14 and R 201-14, and move for their adoption.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Thank you. We go to item 11, which are resolutions. I hereby introduce resolution 177-14 and move for its adoption. Resolution 177-14 is to grant a street and sidewalk encroachment to the Plainfield Public Library for the use of the library park to conduct an outdoor Latin dance concert and cultural fair on Saturday, June 12, 2014, from 3 p.m. through 7 p.m.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Excuse me, just 1 second. Just for correction, Saturday is actually June 14th, not the 12th.
Okay, that should be corrected. It's June 14th is the corrected date on that. Do I have to get approval for that change, Mr. Clerk?
An amendment would be in order because the resolution does say June 12th.
Okay, I move that the resolution be changed from the date, June 12 to June 14, amended resolution. May I have a second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Thank you. I offer resolution 178-14, which is a councilmatic resolution, again, granting street and sidewalk encroachment to Mr. Edison Garcia to conduct his annual outdoor festival day celebrating the independence of the United States at the city-owned parking lot identified as A/8A, and this is on July 11th through July 13th, 2014, and move for its adoption.
I'm sorry, Chairman Reed, the actual dates are July 4th, July 5th, and even July 6th. The dates that we have indicated are rain dates.
July 4th,
Just read the resolution.
5th,
It's on the resolution.
The dates are listed correctly on the resolution, so it
Yes,
doesn't
it's
need to be
listed
amended.
correctly on record.
okay.
Now, second.
Second, and a question?
In reference to some of the public concern, could we just clarify, there were some guidelines that were put in place regarding the festival in terms of where they would consume the alcohol and also the time of the festival and also the noise level. Could you speak to that? Last week we talked about that.
Yes, we adopted the resolution last year, I think it was, addressing those issues.
No, she's speaking in terms of what we added, asked to be amended as to where they're gonna have the alcohol and the noise level.
Oh, that was at the last meeting, was it?
He's getting the police director.
Okay.
But while we're waiting,
No, I also had a comment that had to do with many of the things that my colleague, Councilwoman Brown, brought up. But also, one of the big concerns that businesses had in those lots was that they, did not have access to their trucks, et cetera. I remember there were issues with that. And also, in terms of granting the encroachment for the 3 days, I know that we increased the fees greatly. Do those fees also include the day that it takes to set up, the stadium, the stage and all that stuff? They should be.
Clerk is shaking his head no.
Okay, I think that we should amend this to include the city getting paid for the loss of the use of that lot as well, in terms of setting up, bringing in the rides and the stage and all that, because that deeply affects our city and the businesses and the parking revenue as well. And I would say the same thing, I don't know if it's a full day or a half day, but I do remember that it took a lot of time, and our businesses shouldn't be suffering for that. And also, I have questions about the plan to alleviate the loss of revenue by the businesses when they cannot have access to the lot.
Okay, Mrs. Storch?
I do. Did you ask me a question, or was that just a statement?
That was a question.
Well, I think
No, there was a question on the floor from Councilwoman Brown.
in reference to the festivals. On last week, we spoke about the noise level, the music level. The noise had to be at a certain decimal, and also we talked about they would consume alcohol in a designated area, and that the music would be only to a certain time limit.
Yes. I apologize for the delay in coming in. I was out talking to a resident about an issue that she had with the police earlier, and I was discussing that matter with her. So I'd like to apologize. That's what I was addressing before I came here. In terms of what we're going to do is the police officers are going to be hired for the event, going to make sure that the area is designated, roped off, and the area is secure for alcohol purposes. We did discuss that. I'm going to make sure that does happen. And also in terms of crowd control, they will work diligently with whoever's putting on the event to make sure everybody's secure.
In Lot 8A, what quadrant is the alcohol going to be roped off into?
Offhand, I'm not sure right now, but I have to look at it, where the officer in charge at the time will have to look at it once he's out there or she's out there to determine what quadrant it is there. So it'll be determined by the supervisor. We'll make sure it's a safe, adequate way to avoid any issues and minimize any issues.
And then the other questions that I had to do with, I don't know if they're questions for you or for a city administrator. What are you doing to ensure that the businesses don't lose business? That they have places to park their truck? I remember last year, specifically, it was, I remember one of the businesses was the glass company. Did not have access to his own equipment. And then the other question is, what is the city doing in terms of making the vendor pay for the day that the city loses when they ship in all the equipment and start setting it up? We should be paid for that day as well.
I'll take the second part first, if I might. Unfortunately, our ordinance only allows us to collect fees for the days in which the event is taking place. Our ordinance does not allow us for setup or breakdown time. If we want to do that in the future, that would require an ordinance change. But right now, our licensing fees only apply to the days in which the event takes place.
And then the other part?
As far as addressing the merchant being able to actually still get to and from his business and conduct business during that day, we make every effort to make sure that the street isn't blocked off to the point where the merchant can't do business. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to take place, but I'll be in discussion with the public safety director to make sure that we minimize the effect we have on the merchants doing business during this festival.
Okay, and do you know where what corner the alcohol will be served in?
I have no idea which one of the alcohol will be served, and I do know it will be roped off and it will be monitored.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Since I'm new, it does seem like a lot of days for all of these. I love the idea though, but it does seem to be it needs to be managed. We've done this before. This is not new.
Yes.
So we do have a track record. We are able to control it. The concerns that the resident said is not a concern of administration because we've done this before. Is that correct?
That is correct. I believe the administration can handle it.
Thank you. Very good.
Yeah. So just a couple of questions. One for the administration. In last week's packet, the applications, there were two applications. one of the applications did indicate that they were paying a fee, that they had the amount of the fee, and the other application, it was left blank. So I just want to get confirmation that the first festival, the Visual Live Festival, is actually paying our standard rates.
The fees that are due can only be waived by the council, and there is no request for a waiver of any fees before the council this evening.
Okay.
I can just confirm that with the clerk, that is correct.
Thank you. The other question that has to do with the noise level. I did attend the festivals last year. There's a lot to like about them. One of the things that I thought was a problem, and I've heard this from many residents, is the noise level. It was almost impossible to get too close to the stage because it was so loud that your ears would distort. And I think the idea was to make sure that the rest of the city knew they were there and hopefully attract them in. And I think it worked to some extent, but it was deafening if you were there. And certainly, even like a mile away, I heard complaints from a number of residents, actually the last 2 years. So the question has to do with the decibel level. The paper in front of us, the resolution, doesn't specify anything about decibel level, but I did some research on it online, and I did discover that various cities specify decibel levels so they can actually control for excessive noise. So what can you tell me about that?
Our ordinance unfortunately does not do that. Our ordinance leaves it basically to the discretion of the police director to determine whether or not the sound becomes to the level of a nuisance. So as we're currently constructed, it would require Director Riley to be in contact with those supervisors who are there at the location to be aware of any complaints that are received and then to act accordingly. But it will be within Director Riley's authority to ask them to lower the music or shut off the music if it gets to a level where there are enough complaints that he deems it to be a nuisance to the community.
Could Director Riley, I think it looks like he's going to address that, which I appreciate. Thank you for that response.
What I will do is I'll work with some surrounding towns and get the feedback that you have and see what type of decibel levels that there are and see what type of decibel meters that I can get my hands on to be able to analyze that and try to work it out and go from there. And then accordingly, I will adjust accordingly if the noise level continues to be a nuisance, and we'll take appropriate action as need be.
And I speaking for myself, I will be at the festivals and my ears are distorting. That's my decibel meter. And I will definitely look for the nearest police officer to get some relief for myself and others. Do we have any of the, I know we have, I see one of the sponsors here. I don't know if the other one's here, but it would be nice if we could get some assurance from them that they will do better to control the sound level of the music. Just nod yes or no.
Absolutely, we always try to work.
Thank you.
Can't go.
That's okay.
Madam President, may I say that the resolution calls for a rain date, which I call out from the 11th, 12th, and the 13th. And the date is the 4th, 5th, and 6th if it doesn't rain. I make a motion to adopt the state resolution.
Second. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
I move to resolution 179-14, move for its adoption. And that resolution is granting its use of the city-owned property, lot 8A, 8 and 8A, to hold its 6th annual Outdoor Festival Day, celebrating the independence of Central America. May I have a second?
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And council members, if I could make a comment for the future, because anticipating a year from now, I think before then we do want to think about this ordinance and consider possible additions based on the feedback that we're getting. And especially Councilwoman Williams' suggestion about the setup fees.
Thank you. I'm sure that legal counsel and administrator has noted that review. I introduced resolution 180-14 and move for its adoption, and 180-14 is a resolution granting permission to Marie Group and the Volunteer Productions for Street and Sidewalk Enforcement to hold its third annual Hispanic Heritage Festival and Parade on Friday, September 12th, Saturday the 13th, and Sunday the 14th. And I need a second, please.
Second, and I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Mrs. Councilor Williams.
Can I have an explanation of the word parade in this context, please?
Okay, Mr. Murray, would you?
And the need for a parade.
Hello, Jeff Murray, 503 Elizabeth Avenue, Somerset, New Jersey. We incorporated the parade in our festival this year because there was a demand for it. As other towns have parades, a lot of the community members were asking for a parade. And actually a parade is, it's something, it's like something that brings people together, the community together. And it's a great idea for any community. And I think
What's the parade route again?
It's on Front Street.
From what street?
From Rock Avenue to Roosevelt. It's a straight route. There's no turns in it. But we're trying to work with the city and trying to get some of the businesses downtown to also be involved with maybe sidewalk sales and things of that nature. We just really, we did a lot of research on the parade, and we think it's something that's very good for the city. It brings a lot of publicity to the city, a lot of outside people that are not from the city coming to the city to shop at the city. Foot traffic will be we anticipate a big turnout, and we believe that the city will benefit. As the parade that we put on, if I may, I just wanted to just say a couple things in regards to the festival that we put on. We spent a lot of money and a lot of time putting these things together. Some of the people that made comments about our festivals, they probably never attended. And if they did attend, they would see that it's about tradition and customs. And we bring and spend a lot of money on groups, international groups. And our festivals are very family oriented. And I know they mentioned about time. Most cities that have carnivals, they're 3-4 day carnivals. They're not one day. And we bring the rides in, and it is a family event. Our festival, we never had any problems, and hopefully this year,
Thank you.
I have another question having to do with the parade. What does the parade consist of? Is it just people walking? There won't be any floats or anything?
There's floats, there's businesses that have committed to floats.
Can I hear from the economic development director or city administrator or somebody about the details of this parade?
Excuse me, are you finished with Mr. Marie?
Oh, yeah, I'm finished with him, so
Thank
now
you.
my comments are directed.
1 second, Councilwoman Williams. Are there any other questions from council members for Mr. Marie?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
There's a motion on the floor.
I had asked a question of the administration.
And what was it?
It had to do with what the city is doing in terms of, knowing what's going on, how many floats will there be, all the details of the parade. What are the details?
But this is not a
what's
city-sponsored
presented?
event. This is not
Right,
city.
but the city still should know, if there are going to be 30 floats and 50 trucks, etc.
Okay, they will have that time between now and September 12 to answer any questions. If you meet with city administrator, I'm sure he'll take care of that for you.
And I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Call for the vote on that, please.
Could we just get a response, even if we don't know yet?
Well, an email should be followed up. The city administrator will respond to the email.
Council President, I'd also like to add that when it comes to the carnival and these parades, during the setup and prior to the event, everything has to be approved still by public safety and by our buildings department, which has to come out and inspect the rides, has to come out and inspect the floats, and that requires approval. This tonight is simply for the street and sidewalk encroachment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I have the vote, please?
Did you call for it?
Yes, I'm
Can I have a
calling for
vote,
that.
Madam Clerk, would you call for the vote on this, please?
Change that.
I'm going to read the
This is resolution number 180-14. Councilmembers Brown,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Storch,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Williams,
No.
Chairman Reed,
Yes.
and Council President Rivers.
Yes.
I call,
Thank you.
Resolution is adopted.
yeah, thank you. I hereby introduce resolution 181-14 and move for its adoption. And resolution 181 is a councilmatic resolution granting use of the city-owned property block 318, lot 1, to the Supremo Food Market to conduct a health fair on Sunday, July 29,
June.
June 29, I'm sorry, 7 a.m. through 7 p.m., a health fair.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
I hereby introduce and move for the adoption of resolution 182-14, which is a resolution granting permission to the Plainfield City Management Corporation for street and sidewalk enforcement to conduct four special events in the city of Plainfield. Thursday, June 12th, rain date the 19th, the 28th, and the July 17th and August 22nd. With the rain date of the 29th of the last one.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Thank you. I introduce resolution 199-14. And move for its adoption. And that's the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Okay, I introduce resolution 200-14. And move for its adoption.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Thank you. And let's see. Madam President, I offer the company's resolution identified as 202, 205, which were not set forth in the agenda fixing on May 5th, now to be considered.
Second.
You have to go through each one of them, because these require 5 votes.
Madam Chair. We may, no, you didn't say anything. We may also want to add a temporary budget for June, just in case we don't meet that timeline. So we have a temporary budget prepared to be added if it's the pleasure of the council.
Yes, we're gonna add the temporary budget only in the event that we don't pass our permanent budget, which I know we will pass this month.
So we'll word it so that in the event that we don't pass,
Okay? Chairman?
Okay, I'm just going to get some paperwork sent here.
202-14.
I don't recall, I understand where we are, but let's see a 201. Yeah. Madam President, this is a new item. I hereby introduce resolution 202-14 and move for its adoption as a new item.
Second.
Mr. Clerk, Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
This is resolution number 202-14. Councilmembers Brown,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Storch,
Yes.
Teller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Chairman Reed,
Yes, I guess, yes.
Council President Rivers.
I'm going to announce what the resolution authorize approval of an agreement between City of Plainfield and the Best Kept Secret Entertainment LLC here in Plainfield in the amount not to exceed $17,000. And it's for July
Independence Day.
6th, it says here. July 6th, the proper date?
It's Sunday.
That's incorrect. It's for the concert, the Independence Concert in the park.
Okay.
I have a question. Do I have a question now?
Yes, go ahead.
Were there 3 quotes that were set forth for this actual resolution?
That is my understanding, that they had 3 quotes.
And this particular company came in at the lowest bid?
This particular company, after they interviewed them, was the lowest responsible bid.
Okay, and all 3, I mean, everyone that responded to this were interviewed also?
They only got 3 responses, and all 3 of those folks were interviewed.
Okay.
Okay, this is a new item. May I have a vote, please? All in favor of adding it as a new item?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please? Sorry.
This is for resolution number R202-14. Councilmembers Brown.
Yes.
Reeves.
Yes.
Storch.
Yes.
Teller.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Council President Rivers.
Yes.
The item will be added to the agenda.
Thank you. This is a new item. Resolution 203-14 is a resolution authorizing approval to enter into an agreement between the City of Plainfield and the County of Union to utilize Cedar Brook Park to host a concert and firework display as part of the July 4th celebration for an amount not to exceed $9,156.
Second. All vote, I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk, can I have a roll call? Madam Clerk?
Councilmembers Brown.
Yes.
Reeves.
Yes.
Storch.
Yes.
Teller.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Council President Rivers.
Yes.
The item will be added to the agenda.
Thank you. I offer Resolution 204-14 and move for its adoption, and that resolution is granting permission to the street for a street and sidewalk encroachment to the Greater Plainfield Habitat Humanity for a week-long construction home building event on June 9 through June 13th and June 19th at 1034 West 3rd Street.
1036.
It's a new item.
1036. 1036.
It's just,
I'll second that.
Mr. Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmembers Brown.
Yes.
Reeves.
Yes.
Storch.
Yes.
Teller.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
yes,
Council President Rivers.
Yes.
The item will be added to the
Thank
agenda.
you, Madam Clerk.
thank you. I offer Resolution 205-14, and it's a resolution of conveying condolences to the family of Ronald Lee Franklin Jr. and move for its adoption as a new item.
Second. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Councilmembers Brown.
Yes.
Reeves.
Yes.
Storch.
Yes.
Teller.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Council President Rivers.
Yes.
The item will be added.
Thank you.
Okay, and the final resolution as a new item is Resolution 206-14, and move for its adoption. And it's a resolution authorizing the adoption of a current fund temporary appropriation for the month of June, which is prior to the adoption of the calendar year 2014 municipal budget in accordance with the NJSA 40A:4-20.
Second.
Move for its adoption.
Mr. Clerk, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Councilmembers Brown.
Yes.
Reeves.
Yes.
Storch.
Yes.
Teller.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Council President Rivers.
Okay, now if they are on the agenda, I call those resolutions identified as 202-14 and move for its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
I offer resolution 203-14 and move for its adoption.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
I offer resolution 204-14 and move for its adoption.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Resolution 205-14 and move for its adoption.
Second. All those in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
And finally, I offer resolution 206-14
Second.
and move for its adoption.
Second. All those in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Item 13, Madam President and council members, is the introduction of ordinances on the first reading, and there are none. I turn it over to the President.
Thank you. Before we get into general public comments, Mr. West had sent me an email in reference to some private bills from the previous administration that had not been paid, and I just wanted to find out where we at, did we pay these vendors, or what do we say?
No, the way we left it is that when we get into budget amendments, there will be an amendment made for prior year appropriations in the amount of $3,500.
So will that appropriation come under the mayor's office?
No, the council owns the budget at this point in time. We'll work with you to put that together, but at this point, we just have to make sure we amend the budget so that there's $3,500 in expenses to pay those bills.
I want to make sure it goes to pay those bills.
Right. So we will work with you to make sure that that happens.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're at general public comments. We now come to the general public comments segment of tonight's meeting. A total of 60 minutes have been allocated for all public comments to be presented. Each person is allocated 5 minutes to speak. The floor is now open.
Thank you. John E. Pritchard, 723 Arlington Avenue. There are two things that I'd like to go over with you tonight. This month is Military Appreciation Month. In that vein, I urge the municipal council to pass a resolution supporting our men and women in uniform, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Air Force, for they're out in the front lines defending our freedom. During the war in Vietnam, 16 of our sons were killed in action, fighting for our country. In their honor, I'd like to sing. They loved us so, every day in 100 ways, they told us so, in honesty, in affection, they told us so. They loved us so. Every day in 100 ways, they showed us so. With loyalty and bravery, they showed us so. They were defenders, and they kept us free. They took an oath to guard us and fought for liberty. They loved us so, and we should know, for we love them so. The second thing is about Muhlenberg. We need to reactivate Muhlenberg, and we need to reactivate it ASAP. Give up on Muhlenberg? Oh no. No, we're not going to do that. We need a hospital that's capable of mission. We need a hospital that can serve the people of Plainfield and the surrounding communities. And we need a hospital very, very And I'm not talking about head colds or earaches, I'm talking about many people's lives. And the sooner we activate Muhlenberg, the better off we all will be. Don't make myself clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say thank you to him again by me being a Vietnam veteran. And I stand
Have
before
your name and
you.
address, please.
My name is Leroy Sampson, 752 Stell Avenue. And I stand before you guys today that you probably don't know me, but I work with the veterans here in Plainfield. I'm the commander of the post 7474. I'm the senior vice of 7474, and I'm also a guard for the district. What we're looking for a little help from the city. We need a key to a home because all the work that I do get to do is out of the office off in Front Street, and I need help to raise money. And the only way we can raise money is we're gonna need our own canteen. And it's not only for the veterans. I work with their wife, their kids, anybody that have anything to do with the veteran. I does that work for them. And I'm asking the city to please consider us a home. I want to give you guys a little excuse, the reason we don't have a home. When we came back from World War I, we was not allowed to join the VFW here in Plainfield. So we the only black VFW all organization. Since then, we got a charter and we moved on. So we need to keep moving on, and I will work with them as hard as I can, and anybody in the city that I will work with, get with me, and I'll just try to work with you as hard as I can. I'm nervous to death, but I don't usually be this nervous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't we have a veteran center? What is the status of it? What is the status
It's
of the
located
veteran
at the Senior Citizen Center.
I'm sorry.
No, there's a.
No, she asked me if there was a veteran center. We do have one located at the Senior Citizen Center.
Let me explain it to you.
I can't go back.
I'm sorry. Let me explain it to you. I'm at the Veterans Center on Wednesday. All my work is volunteer. I'm retired. I'm retired from the post office. So all my work is volunteer. I'm down there Wednesdays from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock every Wednesday of the month. But we need to have more people in where I can train more people to come in and do this type of work that I'm doing. Right now, I'm getting ready to move out of Plainfield and go to South Carolina, and I would hate to see this thing just fall flat on its face, okay?
So,
We have a lot of veterans that need us.
Excuse me, sir.
1 second.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure.
What you are asking for is like a city-owned house or
Yes,
something?
we need a house. We need a house.
Thank you. The veteran center is not the same.
Right. Well, the Veterans Center is not open up to us. Luckily, I have a little office space. To be honest with you, I'm in the room where they sell all their used clothes. I work out of that little office. And everything I do is off of my telephone. I don't use their telephone or their computer. I use everything off of mine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Administration.
Gotta respond to that. Yeah, absolutely.
Administration.
Yes, sir.
For veterans.
Wait a
But
minute.
excuse me
Oliver,
for a
hold
minute,
up. Let's let him respond.
Administration for the veterans.
Right.
We could certainly
Well, of
try
course,
to look, I mean, I'm not asking you to do something right this minute.
oh, you're asking me about the house that he was asking about, or what
He
we're
is
doing for
asking for
veterans?
something, do we have something that we can offer the veterans?
We're
Do we have, is there something?
gonna have to look into that.
Can we look into it? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
I'm also a veteran.
Let him speak, you can speak, sir.
My name is Alex Sullivan, 123 Sumner Avenue. Many of you know me as Paul for the Veterans. Has a housing for over 20 years, for mayor upon mayor upon mayor. Until the last time we got the supposedly place, which was then now the senior citizen building. I'm not new at this. I brought the veterans here in droves, asking for a place for the veterans. VFW, I'm a 7474 and 219. That's American Legion. So this is not the first time this young man back here has been holding that together. So I'm piggybacking on him with a passion. I'm a vet for Special Forces, so I know what it's like to be in the trenches. I know what it's like to see other veterans, they come home, not having a place to talk to, not a place to have with their comrades. I know what it's like. But for over 20 years, I've been here in this council. That's what started me right here. Coming, asking for housing, a place that we can call home, because they are the only veterans area, actually veterans organization that do not in any city have a place to call their own. We do contribute back to the city, to the school, to every part of the city. We do give back. So I'm with the commander, asking you the same thing. Give us a place to call our own, not a place where we have to wait for a policeman to come in, open the door for us to get in. Thank you.
Yeah, the city administrator will look into it, and you guys can be.
Council President, Director West would like to have a word on that.
Okay, let me let the young man speak first, please.
My name is Sean Weeks. I am not a member, I'm not a resident of Plainfield. I'm actually a resident of North Plainfield. I'm a member of Post 7474, which I am the youngest veteran. I'm also a police officer who works for the Department of Veteran Affairs. In our post, we have a lot of veterans who suffer from PTSD, such as the young man who came up. I identified it very, very quickly. And sometimes when you hear the same thing over and over again, it's best for you to hear it from a different perspective. I'm the youngest guy in our post. When we go to our meetings, every other town we go to, Scotch Plains, we go everywhere else, they have their own building. It's embarrassing for you to be a young African American, and that you can be of any nationality, but to come and to be a veteran, to get shot at, to come home, serve your country, and now serve your state, your city, whatever you may do as a police officer. And when we go to have our meetings, we have to be led in. I'm not that familiar with politics, but I'm gonna say whatever needs to be done, really needs to be done. I'm 40, these guys are over 60. They've been fighting for I don't know how long. They're training me to come to you guys in the correct way to talk. And to be quite honest, we should be ashamed of ourselves. We're not showing our veterans more respect than what we're showing right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, can we get a response?
Council President, just a quick question. You mentioned the canteen.
Yeah, canteen is a building in which we work out of. A canteen is things that we could raise money off of. If we have a building, we would have, that's what we call it, a canteen.
So you're not talking about selling alcohol or anything?
No, well, you know,
that's what, when I heard that word, canteen, I was put in mind of World War II. Canteens. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. West, you said you had something.
I may not have all of the history, right, but some of you were certainly here when there was an agreement to negotiate it with Monarch.
Right.
And the veterans building, if there's a sign that says veterans, that was tied to the sale of X number of units, you know, before that became available to the veterans to utilize. So at this point in time, that room is basically not available to them because the units that were in the original contract, you know, haven't been met from a sales perspective. So they get to use several times a week and month the senior center. So that's why they have to be let in, because it's the senior center that they have access to for their meetings and other functions. So, you know, right now we're in a quandary because of the current legal agreement that exists that stipulates the conditions for the Veterans Center to become fully available to our veterans.
Can that be renegotiated since they're not selling those places anyway, right? They're renting them now.
Well, there's a combination of the two, but that's an option to see if the owner is willing to renegotiate.
So this is a property that was sold to the owner for $1? Is that?
As I understand the history,
$1? and all we asked for was a senior center and a veterans center, and we can't have the veterans center because a certain amount of units wasn't sold. That makes no sense.
I wasn't here to negotiate, that's what's on the books, so the books of the city.
So now we have a new city administrator who can look into this?
I can certainly look into it, but we
Please.
do have an established contract with them. We would have to really negotiate with the owner to work that out. We
Give us our
can't,
veterans center, that's what we need.
I understand, I know what you're looking for. We can only ask.
And I would volunteer, if you'd like, on the council person to sit in that with you. I would love to.
Okay, and thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's my honor to speak and have an audience with you this evening. My name is Abdul Hassan Sharif. I'm the president and owner of HSP. We reside in Irvington, New Jersey, not a citizen of Plainfield, but I have served the city of Plainfield in partnership. HSP has for the last 6 years produced the production for the July 4th concert and fireworks in Cedar Brook Park. We were one of the 3 companies to bid, and I believe our bid was $4,000 cheaper, lower than the winning bid I found out this evening. I have sent an email and I have a form to fill out for the Oprah information to find out what criteria did we get rejected to continue our partnership with the city of Plainfield to produce the July 4th concert with such success for the past 6 years at a budget that was considerably, I would say almost 50%, 75% lower last year. We have worked with the city when budgets were tight to consolidate our staff, to actually extend and pay for our staff out of our own pocket, to extend to make sure that the fireworks and the activities were produced to the quality of the expectations of the citizens. So with that, I just want to say that in addition to the July 4th concert, we also had partnership with the city last administration to create Music in the Plaza, which was an effort to increase the financial economic development in the town, in the city town area where the Chase Bank and Dunkin' Donuts reside, to bring the citizens of Plainfield out into the public areas to patronize the businesses as opposed to park and go in the building, stay, and then take that the money away from the city. Our organization and business has done this type of work with several cities throughout New Jersey, including Irvington, which was Music in the Plaza for 50,000 people in 3 years, hosting concerts by the Whispers and Najee and the late musicians, as well as Orange, where we had Juicy Jam, where we had Ashley and Simpson before they passed, their birthday, as well as Music Soul Child and Angie Stone. I'm reciting that just to say that we have a history of working with municipalities within budget restraints, as well as to produce the services that were requested in the proposal. So qualifications, I'm not sure if we have met that, but I believe if working with us for about 6 years, we should have met some of those qualifications. I'm not sure about budget because we were conscious of the budget, usually within the cities and municipalities. So we sort of don't go with the industry standard. We try to work within the city ordinance and government funding. So with that, we actually had a budget of, our proposal was $13,500. Producing it from sun up to sundown, including walkthrough with Union County, city officials, which we worked with for the last 6 years, as well as production with This Is It, who we work with to build the stage and provide the sound, as well as the fireworks, who we work with as well to make sure when it rains, we telecast a forecast, we hold up, and we also make sure that the fireworks go off on time. We have always operated on time, we've always completed on time, and we have yet to have an incident in the park, whether it's a lost child who was found by a parent, or whether there's an altercation by someone, or families who bring out tents to make it part of their family reunion for the city. So with that, we're the first in the park and we're the last out of the park, including the Plainfield Police Department. So we leave last. We make sure that Winnebagos and RVs are locked up so that the housing department that provided those from FEMA, they're not broken into by people in the park. So when I say sun up to sundown, we have provided that at a lower cost to the residents of the city. So hopefully you guys will consider some of that. No disrespect, hopefully we consider some of that. I don't know what went into the decision. I just found out tonight that we did not win the bid. It's disappointing. I do have in-laws here. My wife is from here. I feel part of the community, and I've contacted and helped fundraise and sponsor with the Cadillac dealership who parked their cars on the Music in the Plaza, Chase Bank who donated money to Music in the Plaza. So thank you, that's my time. I will gladly serve you again, my company as well. So.
Can someone respond to that at some point?
All I can tell you is that a process was held by the Division of Recreation. A vendor was selected, and that vendor was presented to the City Council for
Tonight?
yes.
That was the lowest bid?
I never said it was the lowest bid, and I think we have
I'm sorry, sir.
13.5, he said 13.5.
He said his bid was 13.5.
Yes, sir.
And the resolution that's on the table is not to exceed 17,000. I don't know.
How much are they?
So let me ask you, if I spend the whole 17, let me ask you a question. Did the people that were selected prior, had they done the Music in the Plaza before, or the Music in the Park?
I actually could not tell you that.
Where's the recreation department then? They're not here.
We can get those answers for you, of course, but
Because it would seem that, to me, if, I didn't even know you, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for all your time.
It would seem to me that if there was someone who had been doing this process for several years of a quality, that bid had come in $4,000 cheaper. I don't know who the people are who had the contract. I don't understand why we would give it to the highest bidder.
well, it wasn't.
That haven't.
I don't know if it was the highest bidder. What I do know, it is another vendor, another qualified vendor, and negotiations took place, and proposal was sent out, and I did not plan on renegotiating the contract at council meeting.
Thank you.
I do think if there's some question, I think the council has every right to question, and we want to look at what happened. That's all we're saying, and I think that we should. If there's some issues of, I don't know what to say, because I don't have any answers. I think administration has every right to select, and I guess the person they feel is best. I'm not against that at all, but I would like to see whether or not, how was it done? Everybody has to follow process, so we just want to review that. That's
Certainly, sure.
Is that possible to review that?
You can, we can certainly review that with you.
Madam President.
Criteria are, what is the criteria?
Madam President, may I suggest that we reconsider this resolution right after the public comment? Maybe we can withdraw it until we get down to the fact.
See,
No.
I really wish you wouldn't do that.
Who
We
said
have gone.
no to a council member
Oh,
who's
no, I wasn't
asking
saying
for
no.
reconsideration?
No, I wasn't saying
that
no
was
to
rude.
the council member. Yes, I apologize for that.
Right.
But we have gone through this process. We have negotiated with these individual vendors, and we've made a selection. And
Okay, one second.
Why can't we
Let's finish
review
this.
You wanna-
We can talk about this after we have after privilege of the floor. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Elkie Del Cruz. I live at 1133 Evergreen Avenue. I'm coming to you as the president of the Board of Trustees for the Greater Plainfield Habitat for Humanity affiliate. I'm just asking the City Council support for the street closure on West 3rd Street the week of June 9th, so that we could do our home builder splits. Your support would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Flor Gonzalez, and my address 410 Washington Avenue. I want to just say something for the record. For every single council person that have a question for me and my personal life, I have no problem. You can ask him. My life is an open book. I have all the addresses for you to your like, and I will invite you the place that I live. Unfortunately, I was living in this building, but I have medical conditions that do not allow me to walk the steps so much. So that's why I live in 903 Central Avenue. You are welcome to come. But the reason I don't give my personal address is because I'm kind of sick and I don't want anybody in my house. So it's not contagious, so I just want to make sure for the records that I live in Plainfield and that I have lived in Plainfield since 1979. My first house was 609 Madison Avenue. My second house was 514 East 3rd Street. My third house was 809 George Street. Then I live in a little place. So I have been in Plainfield all my life since I came here. Having that straight, I would say that we, Pacha made Plainfield Advisory Committee for Hispanic Affairs. We have a couple activities that is coming on soon. One of the activities is the conference with the embassies, and we will want by the embassies to have them to give identifications for all the papers that do not have the people that have no identifications at that point. We also going to ask, we also going to make a study that we will report to the council too.
Thank you.
You're back.
Good evening. Good evening. I hope you can you hear me?
Yes.
Welcome. Oh, that's better? No? Good. At any rate, my name just happens to be for a couple of years. My name is Robert Darden. I live at, or I reside at 1010 Oak Lane. Just keep this street out here, just keep it straight out, all the way down. And when you get to the top of the hill, when you go down, that first street, it's Oak Lane. And we're the second house on the block. We've been there for about 35 years. Plus, I came here about 40 years ago. Bought one house. We were here about two or three years. Somebody broke into the house during the daytime. So we figured we'd go to a better place, but it's still in Plainfield. And I'm here tonight. I know so much I have to say or do. I have been ill since my birthday in October. That's why you haven't seen me. But you know one thing? I've been doing my homework at home. I've been studying, in fact, prior to becoming ill, on the foreclosures in Plainfield. And I'm hoping to be able to report out the foreclosures in Plainfield, because it's terrible. And today, I don't know how many of you buy the paper on Mondays, but I've always said on Mondays, the Courier News always has foreclosures in the newspaper. This is the paper, Monday, May 12th, 2014, centraljersey.com. I looked in this paper today, and I swear, I'm not kidding you, because I believe in the Lord, and I don't believe in telling lies. Because our pastor spoke a couple of weeks ago about people robbing God. You know what that means?
Tithes.
Thank you. Tithing. They don't pay
10%. But yet they're all gonna go to heaven. Well, at any rate, here's today's curry. And I started on page, my eyes are going back to B6. And that's one page. Here's the second page. My fingers aren't too good either. Here's the third page. Here's the fourth page. And it ends on the fourth page, folks. And there are 33 foreclosures. 33. The sheriff's sales. And what gets me is, how in the world is Plainfield going to not do something about that hospital? We need a hospital. They want to tear down part of that residency over there and build 600 condos. And I don't hear a person that's in a real high position out here talking about we are fighting for it. Because we have had people that are elected by the people who are on some of those boards. Now they knew that that Muhlenberg Hospital was going to close, but when did we find out about it? About a month or 2 months before it was going to close. Why? Politics. And the young man that was just up here talking about his bid for one of the things here in Plainfield, he was way below the bidder was higher than him. He got the job, but the one that was lower didn't get the job. I mean, we have got to put the politics asleep, whatever you want to do with it. But you are going to be in big trouble. You're going to build all these houses. They built the senior citizens building over there. I understand. I'm sorry.
Motion to extend.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Need a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
So can I continue?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Here we have a senior citizens place. It was going to cost us $1 to build. $1 to build.
No.
Do you know what it's costing us who live in houses and pay our taxes? We're paying the taxes for that place too. Well, what happened to the $1? I mean, wake up, Plainfield. I swear, wake up. Because this thing in the paper today, and they have houses in there or property for over, it says $230,000 for the property. But they are more than the numbers that they're talking about. Because they have that number and then right next to it, and they have another number for the same property. They're talking about millions of dollars for a property. Now, I don't know everything, but I know about reading things like that because one of my positions during my life was I was the director of federal programs. Well, I started as a teacher, but I was the director of federal programs in Newark. That's a big city. I left there because the assistant superintendent took a job in New Brunswick. What happened? In 3 months, he had me down there in New Brunswick. You know what happened? Just before I retired, the government, the federal government in Washington, D.C., gave Plainfield, not Plainfield, gave New Brunswick a huge sign of how great Plainfield's, how great New Brunswick's business was going as far as the federal monies. Why can't we do the same thing here in Plainfield? I don't know, but you know what? I'm still thinking about a forensic audit. I haven't forgotten about it. We have auditors, but the auditor's job is to audit what they do with the money, where's it going, who's getting it, who's taking it, who's not getting it, what not. And what happens? Nobody is doing anything about it. In fact, the gentleman that was up here before me came up and said about his not his audit, but they gave a a grant or figure in, but somebody got the grant. They weren't they were the lowest, but they didn't get the job or the position. That's not right. Somebody should look into it. And I'm saying this to you, look out, because when this thing happens, a forensic audit, when it happens, that the auditors that come here, they don't do that. They get paid to do the audit. They're showing you what's happening. You have to be the ones that look at that and read it. And if you don't have the time to read it, then you shouldn't even be sitting in a position where you're going to be walking around and, you're big time this and big time that. And I will say this, and some of you know it and some of you don't know it. I was the first board member on the Board of Education here in Plainfield to get an award from the state as being a person who's very much educated to be in that position. Why? Because I went to school and they paid for it, the city, but I got my head together. Please, look and take care of things, folks.
Thank you.
I'm telling you. Because if you don't, I will.
Thank you.
I know I'm not that tall.
Thank you, sir.
But I know some people who will. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Mr. Joe, right in back.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And what happened to my cane? Oh, here it is.
Stands by itself.
Thanks again, folks.
Oh, good evening. Terrell Martin, 1201 East Front Street. I'd like to thank Director Rowley for having the barricades removed after last week's meeting on Monday. As I was coming in this evening, I told him about an incident that occurred earlier this evening. As I was crossing into Scotch Plains, I was in Plainfield, border of Scotch Plains, Taro Road, and East Front. This driver almost struck me down. I was walking with my dog. His car hit my dog's head. Thank God he's okay. He's a strong dog, 40 pounds, almost like a show dog. Nevertheless, this driver stopped. He realized he hit something, but he didn't know what he hit. He wasn't sure if it was a child or what. So he stops. He looks at my dog. The dog looks okay. I'm calling 911 because he's getting ready to deny that he hit anything, but yet you stopped because you knew you struck something. There's a Scotch Plains police officer right in front before Dunkin' Donuts giving a Plainfield resident a ticket, as usual. So I'm calling 911 because I'm thinking this man is getting ready to run away. And I'm saying, yes, you struck my dog. He knew he did. Even his front of his car has a crack on the side there. The Scotch Plains police comes over to me. I'm 911, I'm calling there, asking me, well, where are you? I'm telling them I'm on the border. He comes over because I see him over there giving out this ticket. So he says, well, where were you? So I'm explaining that I hadn't even gotten to the middle. And I'm telling you, this car, I guess he was trying to beat the light and he was distracted. But as he was coming upon me, he realized he saw it and went to swerve. This Scotch Plains police officer says, well, did you get to the yellow, make it in the middle? I says, no, I didn't get there yet. Not 1 ounce of compassion. He says to me, well, this is out of my jurisdiction. I'm now calling the Plainfield Police Department up. I'm still on the phone and they're dispatching me through. The dispatcher was rude. The police officer took at least, it felt like 15 minutes or so to me because I called twice. The young lady said, well, he's coming. I says, well, how long will it be? I've been waiting. Because even the police was getting impatient because he had this man's information on him. She says, well, ma'am, I told you I dispatched the person. They can pull the tape or whatever. When this officer comes, He never got out of his car. He never says, "Are you okay?" or anything. He sat in his vehicle the whole time. I said to him, "Sir, I've been waiting. I called 3 times. You guys must be really backed up here." This thing rolled up his car window, so he did not have to hear what I was saying.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Rude. In the meantime, I'm reading on the car how it says what outstanding service that we give, blah, 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 blah. Unbelievable. I'm standing there for a good amount of time, to the point where I have to knock on his window and say, "Well, how much longer is this gonna be?" Takes his time. "What is your name? What is your address? How old are you?" You didn't ask, still didn't ask me, was I okay? No kind of compassion whatsoever. He goes to the person who called the driver. I already spoke with the director about it. He said he's gonna take care of it. I'm gonna send him an email, because I got names, numbers, and everything, and I appreciate that. I had to say to that cop, "Look at that man's car, you'll see where there's a crack at. Are you gonna get out and look?" He says, "Well, that's a part of doing a police report." I had to ask him everything. "How long will it be before you give me my police report?" You know, the guy was making jokes with the Scotch Plains police officer like it was amusing. I said to him, "The least you could do is say, you know, ma'am, I'm sorry, I hope everything's okay." But he stood there and he says, "I swear to God, I didn't hit her, dog." I says, "And you're a habitual liar." And that's why I was so emotional in calling the police. It's unbelievable the lack of compassion that people share for each other, and the image that one person can make for a whole community. It's really sad, and we do need to do something and start coming together and portray more compassion, sympathy, empathy. I was in tears about walking on my way back home because of the lack of concern that both of those officers showed for me and that lying driver. And I told the director, "Pull the tape so you could see the corner of that street." As a matter of fact, he suggested it. "Pull it, you'll see what I'm saying." I have no reason to, I was almost struck. All I can say is thank you, God, that I was not hit. I can't even think about all the other stuff, that concerns that I have for Plainfield at the moment. I'm just happy to be able to be standing here. Unbelievable. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I just want to say I'm very sorry to hear about the incident and your dog, and people need to show more sympathy. But I also want to address the issue that you stated in regard to the family of Scotch Plains police officers stopping Plainfield residents on the border. I was told by several Plainfield police officers that they do that, and it's intentional to stop Plainfield residents coming on the border. Also, in Terrell Road, where the word Blockbuster used to be, so I'm really asking that our police director look into, and you know, it's very close to racial profiling, also stopping Plainfield residents coming into Plainfield.
Thank you.
Can we, Director, you're going to address?
Yes, I'm going to send him an email and address exactly what happened.
That's who I was speaking with out in the hall before, prior to me coming in. That's why I was delayed. I will address this accordingly, and I'll be on the phone with the Scotch Plains Chief of Police probably
Will you
tonight.
let the council know? I would like to know.
Yes.
I'm here at 1353 Cushing Road. First thing I want to say is I was deadly serious when I came up here before and suggested that there should be a community-sponsored, Plainfield-sponsored fiesta, or whatever you want to call a festival, which includes all ethnic groups in the community. I did not expect you to not approve of the 3 resolutions. You've already practically approved it when you put it on the agenda. I would almost bet dollars to donuts that nobody really realized there was a parade involved in the Marie Group request. However, this thing should be done as a community affair. I have an aside to say, because I live on Cushing Road, and And the city line goes right down the middle of the street, just like it goes right down the middle of Terrell Road. If an accident happens on that road and the cars are on the north side of the line, the Scotch Plains Police have to answer the call. The Plainfield Police won't do it. If it's on the south side, it's the Plainfield Police. When it's in the middle, I don't know what happens.
Good evening. Sadiq Elamine, 315 Sumner Avenue. Just three things. First, there was discussion earlier about the, with respect to the festivals and the decibels that Mr. Storch was so brilliantly alluding to. And that the Corporation Council said that there is nothing on our ordinances that stipulate a specific decimal level that is illegal, if I can use that word. Contrary, there is nothing on there that says what is legal. Yet, from my experience in law enforcement and here in the police division over my career, there were many times, and even as late as last summer at a cookout that I happened to be attending in the afternoon, where there was a small combination band that was playing music for the entertainment of those of us that were at this cookout. The neighbor called the police to complain about the quote-unquote loud noise. And the police officer came and, let the homeowner know that he'd gotten a complaint for loud noise and asked him to turn the music down, which he complied. Now, tonight, based upon the Corporation Council, police officers don't have to come and address that issue because there is no standard for decibels and what is too loud in our municipality in Plainfield, which I guess is why for 6 years we've had these complaints about the noise level of the festivals, even reaching down to Randolph Road, as I read the blogs. Certainly they reach over to Sumner Avenue because I do hear them while I'm inside watching TV in my Bose system. And that still overpowers my system. So I just want to bring that to your attention that given that there's nothing on the ordinance, therefore in the city of Plainfield there is no such thing as loud noise, and any party is too loud, and no resident or homeowner is subject to any kind of city ordinance statute for a loud noise party. Okay. Secondly, on R17814, with respect to Mr. Edison Garcia's annual outdoor festival, 3-day festival, which starts on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. And as I understand it now, the 4th is the designated day of the 4th of July parade here in the city of Plainfield, and so on and so forth. And Mr. Edison's having his festival at the same time. Well, I've heard it say the 4th, here the fireworks is the 4th, concerts the 4th. I assume then that the parade is the 4th also. If not, then someone please tell me. But at any rate, whether it's the 4th or the 6th, his festival is still taking place along with our parade. And what time does his festival start? Because our parade usually starts about 10 o'clock in the morning, goes all the way down Front Street. And there are floats which are registered by the Division of Recreation so that they know how many floats there are. They assign them a location within the parade. And when they do perform, some of those floats do have music on them as they go down the street. And so now you'll have this competing session of music when it gets down to the downtown area. So that needs to be addressed, as well as the issue that was brought up about the festival in the parade in September by Mr. Murray in terms of registering the floats. How many floats are going to be? If the city requires the 4th of July parade to be registered, then I think we ought to have those floats that are going to be in that parade also registered so that you know how many, because that then impacts the law enforcement and public safety issue in terms of, is it a rolling parade or is the entire street, Front Street, from Rock Avenue to Roosevelt going to be frozen the same way we do on our 4th of July parade? Because if that is the case, then the 6 police officers that are used, pittance. I mean, because for the 4th of July, we break out every possible police officer, the special officers, the public works. barricades, the entire street is frozen, Public Works follows them at the end for the cleanup. Is all of that going to be a part and parcel of what you're going to require of him for a parade? Otherwise, you're going to have a rolling fiasco. Thank you.
Can I respond, Mr. Sadiq? The situation of this ordinance is not new, is that correct to the city? So it's not like this is new. This is not new.
My apologies.
Your points that you raised seem to be a lot. I don't know why I don't read the blogs, but somebody put whatever they want in those blogs. But in terms of the city administration addressing this, I think they are experienced. This is not new. This is not like the first year or anything like that. So I think for us to have these festivals, this is not new.
Correct.
Okay, so
this is decibels and the loud, i.e. loud noise, and what is loud could be.
And I think that the city administration, director of police, I'm sure they're going to address these issues, but I think your points are well taken.
I just want to make sure that it's on the record somewhere that it was brought up as a major concern that needs to be
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilwoman Taylor, I also want to note that there is an ordinance that speaks to amplified music. And whenever you have amplified music being played, you have to get a sound permit from the city clerk's office.
Okay.
The question is, how loud can the music actually be?
I see.
So if you have an event in your backyard and you're having amplified music, band playing, what have you, actually have to have a sound permit for that.
Okay.
But again, how loud is too loud, and who will actually monitor how loud that is?
Okay. Thank you.
Jeff Dunn, 537 Belvedere Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey. Good evening, Council. First thing I want to say is I want to give my support as President of the Chamber of Commerce in regard to Habitat for Humanities, do fine work, and I think that they are going to do a great thing in Plainfield. They have already done many things. But I also would like to solicit their support in regard to the fact of addressing the veterans' request. I want to also add on to what Mr. Darden said in reference to the number of houses that are available. I would like to suggest the idea of one of these city-owned houses or buildings, okay, be considered in collaboration and partnership with Habitat for Humanities in reference to taking something that's old, rehabilitate it, and serve the veterans. However I can help out in any way, please let me know. But I just want to make that suggestion. I'm not trying to make it happen. I'm suggesting and I'm asking. I think this could be a great collaboration. Okay? Next thing I want to say to you, with reference to the festivals, as a chair, as a president of the chamber, I just want to add this component. What's in it for Plainfield? Okay? All right, I understand the celebration. I understand the entertainment. What's in it for Plainfield? How many businesses are benefiting from Plainfield? How many people are being hired from Plainfield? How many basically economic tools, resources are being brought into Plainfield? I want to know how we can keep the money in Plainfield. I want to entertain, but how do we make this profitable for Plainfield? Next thing. Again, as chamber president, I want to say to you, the one-seat ride, for those who don't know about it, is a big thing. The tunnel project is going to happen. That tunnel has to happen. That tunnel was built 100 years ago, and the tunnel is going to be built again. And the one-seat ride is right related to that. June 24th, the Raritan Line Coalition, the collaboration of all the train stations throughout the city, the Raritan Line, meet on a regular basis. But the next meeting, June 24th, is going to be in Plainfield. And I give credit where credit's due in reference to the city administration. Our economic developer, Carlos Sanchez, as well as the mayor, has been advocating, along with me, to have that meeting in Plainfield. So those council persons who are interested, I strongly suggest that you come. Councilman Storch has been coming, the mayor has been coming. I suggest you guys come and just listen to what's going on, because here's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, people have discovered that Plainfield is getting ready to come back. Let me just give you an understanding. There's a historic tour in Westfield that includes 2 houses from Plainfield. Okay? We have treasures in this town, and we got to start showing some appreciation for it, and not just pieces of it, not one section of it, the entire town. We have 4 train stations. There's 4, although there's only 2 working now. You have Grand Avenue as well as Clinton Avenue were train stations. I don't know what the future may happen as far as Plainfield's concerned. But I'm trying to say to you is Plainfield's getting ready to go through a major renovation, a major level of prosperity. And I want for us to really understand what we have here and not give away the story. You got some great responsibilities here. I give you applause because you have a huge challenge. Is how do we do this with balance? And administration, I ask you, please show these people some respect. Sometimes you guys are just pushing things at them with no regard to giving them the time to do it the right way. And I find it offensive. I really do. I ask that the council and administration come to some type of agreement. That budget you have, that's no small item. That's big. But my thought process, I want to ask, and I made suggestions to a few people, that we put the consultants, the city, as well as the citizens program on a spreadsheet, apples to apples, orange to orange, and compare, nice and plain, 1 page, boom. And you can do that. And we don't have to pay the consultants. Administration can do that. I'm just making a suggestion. We got a lot at stake. And I'm about Plainfield. What's in it for Plainfield? Plainfield has a lot to offer. Let's get our share. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Charles Eke. I live on 1045 Woodland Avenue in Plainfield. I think I'm going to ask the council to look at the way contracts are worked. If I don't know what the criteria are, maybe they can tell me what the criteria are for awarding the contract. I mean the bids. If there is a lower bid, some of us who are in business, if there's a lower bid and they've been doing the same project and they become lower, I think they should be considered. So if that has been the case, I think I asked for that to be examined and see if these processes are being followed. Having said that, in the course of my walking in the street for the last few months, it was brought to my attention that there is ice cream trucks, and these ice cream trucks do pay some sort of a license. But those from out of city does not pay any license, but they take the business away from the people of Plainfield. I think that's something, I don't know who has to look into that, but I think it's something to look into, because if someone is paying for a particular business and another person is not paying for it, but is taking the business from that individual, I think it's not too fair for those who are paying tax in Plainfield. Thank you for hearing from me.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, Council. My name is Mustafa Muhammad. I live at 919 East Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. I just want to echo some of the things that I've heard, in particular the elderly gentleman who was talking about the foreclosures in the city of Plainfield. Your job for us right now and what's going on in Plainfield has been going on. This stuff has not just started with this administration. Nevertheless, this hour with this particular administration, in my view, and many other views in the city of Plainfield, over the last year or so, there has been approximately 1,200 properties who have foreclosed in the city of Plainfield. This stuff is not just by chance. Like Mr. Dunn was just saying, Plainfield is slated for all of these great things that's happening, but people are taking Plainfield, literally. And this administration is pushing things at you very, very fast, but you have the authority to say, peace, be still. You don't have to rush and do nothing. You don't have to rush and do nothing at all until you completely understand. And you don't need to dignify reason. You don't need to ask permission. All you need to do is what's good for the majority of the population in the city of Plainfield. That's what's important. That's what's most important here. We need you to rise above and beyond your duty. We need you to do something that is extraordinary, what you normally would not do. And like the administration said, well, I would hope you would not do that. I hope you would do that. I hope you would do things out of the box, because that's what's required in this situation and what's going on here. Especially if you have an administration that are doing things that are apparently just not fair. Not right. The little presentation that we were given by the individual that had a company that was doing business with Plainfield for over 6 years. I mean, that's clear. It don't get no clearer than that. So you do need to step in and use your authority and your power to check what's not being checked. To whatever extent it needs to be done, you need to do that. And we as residents in the city of Plainfield hope that you would do that. Hope that you would have the heart, the testicular fortitude to be strong enough to check us where we need to be checked.
Amen.
Especially the administration. And that goes beyond the administration. That goes to these money changers in the city of Plainfield. That's these banks who we putting our money in. They're putting our money in their bank. Put the city's money in their bank. But they're not helping our residents here. They're doing everything in their power to move us the hell out of here. To get us out of here so them like vultures and buzzards can come in here and just pick the carcass of a dead city. That needs to change. But you are the servants for us. You are the protectors for us. You have the authority. You have the power. And we would hope and pray, God, that you would do it. And that you would use it. And work cheerfully. I mean, because it's all in good nature. It's all for good health. You know, it's nothing personal. Nothing personal, but we have to protect our community. And in order to protect our community, we have to come together. And I think we do have majority of the council. It's plain and simple. It's clear. And so what needs to be done, needs to be done. And I'm hoping that you would use everything that you possibly can to stop this kind of nonsense. And we just have a perfect example of it. And I want to mention it again with the company that's been doing business with Plainfield for 6 years. That just doesn't make common sense. Why would we do something like that? And pay a whole lot more. And then have the nerve to say to you, I hope you will not do that. That's crazy to me. So I'm hoping that you would do everything in your power, the whole piece. Look, 4th of July is a ways off. That kind of nonsense needs to stop. We need to set a new precedent, and we need to let it be known that we're not going to stand for that kind of nonsense. Because it's been going on for a long time. It didn't just start in January with the Mayor Mapp administration. That kind of nonsense has been going on. And like the elderly gentleman said, there's people been knowing about Muhlenberg Hospital for up to a decade. Who have sat on both boards, Muhlenberg and JFK, didn't tell us a damn thing. If you understand, I mean, you could just read it. You could pull it up on the internet and read it. It's right there in front of your face. So they're not fooling nobody, but we need to have the strength to use our authority to check this stuff right now before it's too late, because we are in the 11th hour. Thank you so very much.
Good evening. Council. My name is Diane Tolliver, 123 Sumner Avenue. I shrunk. My concerns tonight is I'm speaking to a few residents throughout the city, and I've observed myself as well how the residents of Plainfield are not keeping the grounds of the city and the parks clean with their dogs. I know there's an ordinance that they're supposed to clean up after their dogs, but I see a lot of feces around, which cause germs and diseases, and everyone in here should be concerned that have children that go to our parks. That's where I see a lot of it, and just walking along the sidewalks, people are letting their dogs defecate and they're not cleaning it up. I don't know how we as the council are going to fix this. Maybe when they get their license, you charge a little extra because someone's going to have to go about and clean this up. That's my first comment. My second comment is I'm back to Mill Campbellfield again. It's warm out, it's nice, it's a beautiful park. Public Works keeps it up well, but I particularly, personally myself, don't like the walking trail. The walking trail there goes behind trees, and myself, I walk there. And I pay taxes to walk there. And I think some of the trees could be eliminated there for safety reasons. If I'm out there and another resident is out there, when you walk further back into the park, No one can see you, but if a few of the trees were eliminated, as I have noted out in South Plainfield, it's a little bit more clear where someone could see if there was an incident. If you get sick or something, someone would know that something was wrong. But the way it's set up now, no one would know. So I'm just asking the council if they would take into consideration, the public work could look and see what trees could be eliminated just to make it a little bit more safer for the residents. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Good evening. I'm Sharon Robinson Briggs, 216 Pemberton Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey, and proud to be your former mayor. Happy Mom's Day to all the ladies, plus a day. Well, you know, Mom's Day is every day, so happy Mom's Day. Thank you to Habitat for Humanity for continuing to embrace the city of Plainfield. I'm here tonight as I still receive many calls from people who are concerned, and I'm here to speak to their concerns and mine. A little housekeeping. I want to thank you, council members, as the sign, the electronic sign that's outside of the police department was purchased under my administration, and so I thank you very much for allowing it to be erected. I think it's a wonderful piece of informational tool for the community of Plainfield and visitors. Thank you. Absolutely, thank you. Okay, I want to speak for a second with regard to, first of all, with regard to our local businesses and entities that want to do fairs and festivals in the city of Plainfield. They're marvelous events, they bring about a lot of diversity, but I need to bring something to your attention, just to ask you to please remember this. Last year, and this is an effort for us to be fair to all the local businesses, last year, under the former third councilman's recommendation, there was an ordinance that was put forward to raise the fees tremendously so for the festivals, those who want to have festivals, okay? And then the very next month, that same person, I believe, recommended, Mr. Mack, recommended that the fees be waived for one event in particular. I see that event, there was a lot of talk tonight with regard to fees. I heard Councilwoman Williams talking about fees and should we have more fees for those who are doing the festivals for setup and things of that nature. And I do see that other group under R181, Supremo Food Market, who's also here in the city of Plainfield, that they're back on the agenda this year for the same health fair that their fees were waived last year. So my question is, are they going to be getting a perk that these others have not been able to get a perk? Can everybody kind of be treated the same way, please, equally and fairly? And what should go for one should go for another, quite frankly. Okay? I'm going to move on to R202-14. I did hear the gentleman who came up with regard to HSP. I don't know, with all due respect, I don't know what company this is, this Best Kept Secrets Entertainment. And I'm sure that they're very professional in their own right. I know in the city of Plainfield we do have a radio station with a similar name, but I don't know if this is them or not. If so, they're good people. But I can only speak to, right now, to HSP, because I know for a fact that under my administration, and I believe that maybe even some events prior to me becoming mayor, they've done, under that gentleman, they've done quite a bit of work in the city of Plainfield, in the entertainment field. They help to produce and manage entertainment for our 4th of July concerts, as well as they did a phenomenal job. We came up with a program called Music in the Plaza, and it was really an initiative to help bring the people out of that Union County building on Front Street and to be able to have them patronize the stores. So we put together a concert series, a lunchtime concert series, to bring them out, hopefully that they would do such. That gentleman, Hassan, with HSP, he helped to manage that for us, and we brought a lot of entertainment here. And I will say, he's quite accurate with regard to the fact that he minimized his budget to meet ours. When we said we didn't have the funding available, he worked with us. And so I know that he does a fantastic job, and he brought a lot of great talent here to the city of Plainfield for our concerts. So if you're gonna look at that situation, I thank you for doing so, because I believe that people who do a great job for us and those who like to embrace this community should be given an opportunity. Okay, so next I want to speak for a second with regard to the veterans. Some of them may have gone, but I want to speak on their behalf anyway. And I know that some are still here. I see Mr. Tolliver here and others. But you may remember, some of you were on the council at this time and some weren't here yet. but we have an armory on Leland and Leland Avenue. And the state of New Jersey, when I was mayor, the state of New Jersey was willing to give us that armory for $1 a year lease. And then we would have to make sure that the monthly expenses were paid for. We had identified a church and a school that wanted to occupy the main building. And then we thought that we would renovate that really large. Now, when you think of a garage, you might be thinking about a 1 or 2 car garage. This garage had 7 boats in it, so it was pretty big. We were going to renovate, we wanted to renovate that garage in order to give our veterans a home of their own so that they can have their own private space. May I have just a few more minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you. Well then, I don't feel bad about my next statement because it was actually Councilwoman Rebecca who said that the city is not a landlord, and so therefore we didn't have the opportunity to renovate the armory or the garage, and then the state took back their offer. So that was an opportunity that we could have had something here. Not only did those 2 bodies, were they going to pay for all the expenses, the church and the school, but we would have had a free entity for to be able to host free city events later on, and the veterans would have had their property. So I'm just asking if you please take a look at maybe a city-owned building or something that we could renovate for the veterans. I'll go and cook for free 1 day a week for them if you give them a building of some sort. With regard to the budget, I will again say no disrespect is intended to anyone who has applied for a position to work with this great city of Plainfield. But I personally feel that as a resident here in the city of Plainfield, Mr. Matt wanted to be mayor, so he should be here and do the job of the mayor. We don't need to have someone here to fulfill that role because he has decided to hold a 6-figure job in another municipality. That's unfair to us. Why should we have to pay for someone else to come here and do his job? You want to be mayor? Come here and be mayor. I recognize it's a difficult situation, but somebody has to do it. Next, with regard to media, you may remember Mr. Lawrence Rice. He was our only media person several years ago. His salary was not to this salary, but he did everything. Mr. Mapp, when he was the finance chair for the council, said that we should have we should outsource that position. And when we did that, it cost the city of Plainfield more money. So then we combined media and IT. And then it's being separated, it's proposed to be separated and come up with this really large salary. I think that needs to be looked at too. Please take a look at that, because maybe the better solution might be to rejoin those 2 entities, media and IT, give that IT director a bump in his salary that he deserves because he works 40 hours plus 40 hours a week, and maybe use a part of that money to bring on someone else. You still have a savings, but you'll get a better bang for the buck, okay? The last one I want to touch on, and there's many others, but I'm just going to finally say about recreation. Mr. Mapp, in his capacity as 3rd Ward Councilman, said that we didn't need, and this will just take 30 more seconds and I promise to be done. Yes? Thank you. Okay, he said that for almost 2 years, we didn't need a recreation division superintendent. And then suddenly, under his administration, we need one. Is that a political position, a political paycheck? What is it? So please take a look and think about that. I want to thank all of the candidates who are running for council and for Congress, but I have to give a special nod to folks who I know for a fact will embrace the city, the senior citizens, the veterans, our youth, diversity, and everything involved. And so thank you, Reverend Taylor, for running to continue to, in your capacity as 3rd Ward Councilman. I appreciate that. Thank you to Mr. Charles Ecke, who I think will be excellent as the 2nd and 3rd Ward Councilman. And thank you to Diane Tolliver, who I think will be a wonderful 1st Ward Councilwoman. Thank you to Bonnie Watson Coleman, who will be our next Congresswoman. God bless you all, and thank you for the role that you do. Amen.
Oscar Reba, 1338 Martin Avenue. Glad to see that it's campaign season here in Plainfield. Going back to the festivals, and I appreciate that some of the council members questioned the administration on something, but I think it was pretty clear that a year has passed and a process has not been put in place as to the festivals, crowd control, public health and safety, just because there's a track record of a municipality having an event doesn't mean that something can't go wrong in the future. To quote Councilwoman Taylor, everybody must follow process, and it doesn't seem like there's a process in place, especially when it comes to the noise level mentioned by Mr. Elamine, that questioning one of the sponsors on the spot as to whether or not they'll be good enough to lower the volume and supervise liquor is really not the best thing. If it's an ordinance, it needs to be abided by. I'm going to move into now some personal matters regarding getting a permit to fix my sidewalk. I'm sorry to bother you about this, but I had a contractor come to the city. City Hall's open, the office is supposed to be open. They arrive, I get a call saying, office is closed. What's going on? Call up. It wasn't closed. It was that the office opened up a little bit later because, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but very nice lady, but it's like, well, I couldn't be there. Next day, contractor comes back, not there again. I called up about a permit fee for my sidewalk. $50, not a problem. Go in, file a fee. I get a call from the consultant or the consultant's office telling me not only is there a fee because it's over 50 feet in length, I now have to put up a maintenance bond, another bond, and I end up getting a letter. I basically have to post almost 100% of what the job is going to cost me, which I will most of it get back, just so that I can redo my sidewalk. I'm sure that there's ordinances in place. I'm happy to, abide by rules, but everybody needs to follow process. Inspections in the city of Plainfield are hard. And if it applies to me, and I'm happy to do it, it should apply to everybody. My parents purchased a home a couple of months ago. In order to get the temporary certificate of compliance here in Plainfield, they needed to make certain repairs. Repairs were taken care of. We had to put up $1,000 escrow in order to ensure that the other repairs would get taken care of. Meanwhile, the house next door is falling apart, and the houses across the street are falling apart. It's an investment property that they purchased, but you look around the city of Plainfield, and I've talked about this before, so many of these houses that need attention don't get the proper attention. The woman in the inspections office tells me, I'm like, well, when's the inspector gonna come back? Don't worry about it, just call whenever. Really? Okay. So that's what goes on in the inspection office? Now, this is prior to January. So there's a problem with process in the city. And it's been a year now, going back to, there has been time. Another gentleman earlier said, take your time. Well, how much time do you actually need to put together some rules and regulations and get process to where it needs to be? That's it, thank you.
Can the city administrator respond to his, I want to say charges almost? Reference to inspections.
Inspections is constantly under the gun to get projects and programs, licensed and permits done. We are trying and will continue to try to provide a better service to the citizens of Plainfield.
Well, can you give him some personal assistance? I would recall.
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Rivers, give me a call.
Thank you. Any more for privilege of the floor?
Seeing none, I propose we close the public session. It's a good one.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention, motion carries.
Madam President,
Yes.
I think we should address this best kept secret resolution 202/14 you adopted. in which it appears to me that from the information we got so far, that it may have been incorrectly adopted by us. I'd like to propose we rescind it until we get additional information, and we'll have time in June to bring it back and adopt it, so we'll have a person to take care of this entertainment.
I have a question about that. This is for the Corporation Council. In taking such an action or having further discussion on this topic, are we begging for legal problems? I just want to make sure that there's a way that this could be addressed with the council, but I don't want to expose us to lawsuits either by the losing party or by the winning party that gets rescinded.
By rescinding the ordinance this evening, it doesn't guarantee that the other vendor would in fact get the contract. The council has the ability to say yes or no to any contract. However, if we were going to further discuss the negotiations of this contract, I'd recommend that we do it in executive session.
Sure.
So if the council's will tonight is to rescind the prior resolution authorizing the contract, we can move this to executive session in the June meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to ask, just as we said.
Second. I'd like to make a comment. Sorry. This contract was unanimously passed, and it seems to me that, with the contracts, the lowest responsible bidder received the contract. To have someone come and complain that because they had done it under the previous administration in the past, now want more clarification, I'm sure that they didn't whine about it when they got it before. So I think that if we had to wait till the June meeting for a vendor to know they had a contract to start preparing for an event that would be happening, because our next meeting is not until, I think, June 10th. So that leaves less than a month for a vendor to be able to, get together the talent and all the other things. So I think that we all voted unanimously for this. BKS, they are here in Plainfield. They've worked the concert before. They're Plainfield folks. So I think that it's foolhardy to attempt to rescind something and wait until our June 10th exec session or meeting or whatever to discuss something. Thank you.
Councilwoman Williams, with all due respect, the motion is on the floor, and with that being said, we're just looking for more information. Again, we didn't have all the information that needed to be given to us to make a sound decision. And upon this new information that was revealed to us tonight, I think that it would be responsible of the council to rescind this resolution and move forward. Now, we're not stating that that he's going to get the contract, but what we are stating is that as a governing body, we want to make a responsible, sound decision as to whom we want to handle the concert. There's a motion on the floor. It has been seconded. Mr. Clerk, you call for the vote.
Before we vote, I'm in favor of us revisiting this, but I just think we don't want to get a reputation for waffling, and we could just leave as is and appoint a couple of council members to, or go into executive session tonight and try to get more information, because the information we got is from a party that is trying to get the contract. This is we can't just take that as objective information. So I think we should just leave it. I do not support rescinding, but I do support revisiting it, and I'd be willing, after listening to the facts, to change the vote in June. But I think doing it now it just this kind of behavior on the council's part just makes us look like we don't know how to do business. And it worries me.
Can I say something? It doesn't worry me because apparently certain council members have more information than others. And that's the problem. If it wasn't brought to all of us, I have some questions now as to whether the process was even fair, or if it was, maybe we're gonna have to ask for more information and as we look at other ordinances, maybe that's the real lesson, that we need to have more information so that we can see. And we've just been given stuff that we thought was fine, but now we're seeing that there's some questions. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think that makes us look more responsible, that we are not just gonna rubber stamp stuff and maybe it'll come out to the same way. What's the problem? And I don't have any personal preferences for either one, but I certainly do want the process to be fair. And I want people to feel that, you know, I lost it because I was the whatever. I wasn't the best bidder or the least amount or the most responsible, whatever the situation is. And I think that's what open government means, and we need to be transparent. And so I don't have a problem going through it again and checking out more information. And I think we have an obligation to do that.
Excuse me for 1 minute, please. Since we had 3 bids, I think that we should get a look at all 3 so that we can be fair to everybody, because it's outrageous how you just present one and then we're supposed to accept that one without even asking a question. That is not fair to us, and it is not fair to the people who are bidding.
Council President, may I just make a comment?
Call the vote, please.
Excuse me?
Please, let's call the vote.
No, I asked to make a comment. I'm a councilwoman and I can make a comment.
Go ahead.
You go on and on for 20 minutes some nights.
Councilwoman,
So,
make a comment.
here's my comment. We got this information, we passed it unanimously, 7-0. At the time, which was roughly maybe an hour and a half ago, if there was a question, that's where the question could have been asked. If a self-interested vendor, and I'm talking about all vendors, you know, comes up and makes a number of statements asking about a process, then, you know, as was stated before, that person is self-interested. We can't take, you know, that person's word for it. But I will say that in terms of, you know, passing something 7-0, the assumption is that we have enough information, which means that I'm still speaking, thank you. And to assume that some people have more information than others without any facts, you know, is just baseless and ridiculous. Thank you.
Well, there's nothing written in stone, and there's no reason why we cannot go back and revisit this. What's the problem? Let's revisit it. We did not have the information that we thought we had.
Councilwoman Williams, even in a court of law, if the judge make a decision, you can always ask for an appeal upon new information. So at this time, the council was not given the correct information, because this is our baby. This started after the county decided not to have the council in the apartments any longer. The administration picked it up. So this is dear to our heart. This is not something that, you know, we take lightly. And the last 2 councils was a great success. So that's why we were all, as well as myself, were all ready to say yes to this, for this bid. But when you get vendors that have already done this and have been successful with it, who come in with a bid under the threshold, under the vendor who has been given this contract, who have never done this type of event for the city. It's just a question. It's not saying that they're not going to get the contract or who's going to get the contract. So all of us going back and forth, and Councilwoman Williams, you're trying to demand that we stick to our yes vote, is wrong. No, actually, I wasn't trying. I don't care who gets the contract. I have no dog in this fight at all. My issue was with the process. That's my
I want to, maybe what we should do, this is a learning experience. And some boards, you have to give all three. You have to give the quotes, and they're on the ordinance. And it's listed as to what each quote was, so that the governing body has more input and information. Maybe that's what we need to do. If this kind of thing continues, I think we might have to request those kinds of things where we know the quotes for, if there were three people, three companies, then what were the quotes for all three? So that we can see that it's above board and everybody can see, okay? So I'm not sure this is a need, but I think the fact that we are inquiring shows that we are responsible. And I, for one, want that to happen as long as I'm on the
Council President, we can certainly give you the responses to the specs that we sent out. And it was never a requirement to select the lowest bidder. But if you want to see how the contracts were responded to, we can certainly give you that information.
Thank you. Call for the vote, please.
This is a roll call on motion to rescind resolution R202-14. Council members Brown?
Yes.
Greaves?
Yes.
Storch?
No.
Taylor?
Yes.
Williams?
No.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Council President Rivers?
Yes.
It's 5 in favor, 2 opposed, the motion passes. R202-14 has been received.
Thank you.
There's nothing that stops us from going into executive session tonight. To try to resolve.
Require a motion to go into executive session.
I mean, I'm not.
Right now?
Can't.
No, you don't have to
We need to get the quotes together, all the information.
You have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Good night.
Adjourn.